Tell me then what he saw.
He saw what I saw.
The moon is dark. My mum used to say you should always plant potatoes when the moon is dark or else they come up sunburnt.
I like potatoes.
You are a potato. I'll tickle you.
No.
What else did you grow on your farm?
Barley and oats. We had an apple orchard too. My dad said he heard the hedgehog, only he called him a Yoga, and he'd come through every afternoon grunting like a country parson on his way to church. No offence, miss. My dad swore he used to steal his apples every harvest.
How did he do that?
Well, how do you suppose? It rolled around on its back until there was an apple sticking to every quill, and then it trundled off like a bushel with legs. Well, that's now your bedtime now.
Oh, please, Miss Gross, just one more story.
Yes, please.
Maybe, miss, just one more.
If Mrs. Groves doesn't mind.
All right, just one more. Once, there was a crooked old man who lived in a crooked old village with crooked cobbled lanes and an old abbey churchyard choked with high crooked grass. And down on the water, an old tarry fishing lugger hugging the crooked bay. This man went to bed one late, dark night, full as dark this one. But then, of a sudden, he woke to something ringing in the night. He looked all around him and nobody around. But then, he looked under his bed and found the devil himself ringing a bell.
Under his bed?
So what do you suppose this old man does? He runs out to the abbey and steals the bell right out from the church belfry and rings that devil right out from under his bed and all up and down the crooked street. Well, that's now your bedtime now.
Oh, please, Miss Gross, just one more story.
Yes, please.
Maybe, miss, just one more.
If Mrs. Groves doesn't mind.
All right, just one more. Well, that's now your bedtime now.
Oh, please, Miss Gross, just one more story.
Yes, please.
Maybe, miss, just one more.
If Mrs. Groves doesn't mind. Once, there was a governess, and she had care of a little girl. The little girl was amusing herself with a toy that went round and round, while the governess was reading a book. Round and round this toy went, but then, of a sudden, it stopped. The governess looked up to find the girl studying a spot on the salt wall beside the window. "What are you looking at, dear?" the governess asked. "The face, miss," the little girl replied. "Never mind, just go on with your play," for there was no face that the governess could see. So round and round the toy went, and some time passed, and then the governess looked up again and found the girl looking at the same spot on the wall. "Is it someone at the window, dear? Just ignore them if it bothers you." "No, miss," the little girl said. "That face, miss, it wants you. It wants you."
They are here. They are here, you little wretches! And you know it! It isn't my imagination at all! Why am I the only one who can see them? Am I mad? Am I mad? Am I mad? Am I mad?
Well, that's now your bedtime now.
Oh, please, Miss Gross, just one more story.
Yes, please.
Maybe, miss, just one more.
No. No, it's time for bed.
Miles.
Hear you. I can hear you.
My love.
No.
Rose, thou art sick.
Be with me. Be with me.
Oh, well, I'm sure I've made mistakes.
Kiss, Flora.
Du small.
Don't.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Come, children.
Present indicative. A mo, a mas, a mot.
a mattis, a mont.
Good. Now let's invent a rhyme so we shall remember them by. I'll start. A mow, a moss, I had a little loss. A moss, a mat.
And it grew very fat.
Good. A mat, a mamus.
And it grew very famous.
A mamus, a mattis.
I fed it potatoes.
Good, Flora. A mattis, a mont.
But it died of want.
Good, children. Now get out your pen and your paper. We'll practice your penmanship.
Maybe write a letter to Uncle.
Of course. What would you like to say?
About how we're having a lovely time at Bly.
All right. Dear Uncle, we are having such a lovely summer at Bly. Won't you please come visit us soon?
And I fed it potatoes, a montis a mont.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You look very lovely. You look quite a little gentleman.
Is Flora coming to church?
In a moment. She won't be too late. I love the morning when it's quiet like this, you know. It's a good time for sorting things out before the day complicates them. I noticed it's getting to be autumn too. There was a bit of a frost last night. Did you notice? Were you cold? I know that I was. What are you thinking, Miles?
There's something we need to talk about.
Is there? Tell me.
When am I going back to school? I mean, for a boy to be with a lady always, well, it isn't the usual sort of thing. I'm getting on in case you haven't noticed, and you can't say I haven't been awfully good.
Yes, you've been quite good.
Well, I mean, except for just that one night.
That one night.
When I went outside. You remember?
Of course. Although I forget now what you did it for.
You forget? It was to show you that I could.
Of course, but you won't again.
So when am I going back?
Miles, as I recall that same night you said you were so very happy here, does Bly no longer agree with you?
Oh, no, I'm happy enough anywhere.
Then what is it?
Oh, it's just that, well, you know a lot.
Thank you.
And it isn't that I don't like your company. I do. I quite like you, my dear. It's just that...
What?
A boy wants his own soul.
I don't think there are many of your own sort, Miles, except perhaps Flora.
I'm not a baby girl.
You mean you don't love our Flora?
If I didn't, and you too, if I didn't,
Yes, if you didn't.
does my uncle think what you think?
What do you mean? What do I think?
I mean, does he know what's
Miles-
happening?
Miles, I don't believe your uncle much cares.
Then he must be made to care. You must come down here, and you must settle things with him. You'll have a tremendous lot to tell him.
You will have an awful lot to tell him too, Miles.
Yes, but it's different, isn't it? Because you're in charge. I mean, should you really have taken care of this all long ago? I hate to imagine his disappointment. Didn't he place his trust entirely in you? Hello, Miss Groves. Hello, Flora.
Oh, hello, Master Miles. Oh, are you coming to church, miss? Go on that way. I'll catch up. Come, children.
my room. This is the children. That's exactly what you want, isn't it? You want me to leave them with you. I won't. I will stay. You are a terrible, miserable woman!
Miss? Go to your rooms, children. Change clothes, there's a dear. We missed you at church, miss.
She was here.
Who was?
Miss Thistle.
She was here.
I had had a discussion with Miles. I needed to get away from him.
From Master Miles?
Yes. Away from both of their false, lovely faces, and then I began thinking of getting away altogether. Without a scene, without a word, and I came up here for some things, and she was here, my vile predecessor, and she spoke to me.
She spoke to you. What did she say?
Oh my God, it's worse than I thought. Mrs. Gross.
There, miss.
They're suffering. It must be dreadful. It's why she comes back. They meet constantly. Depend upon it. However much I see, there must be more that the children see. Terrible, unguessable things, memories of whatever passed between them. It's like something about the house. Something about Bly itself. It's like a story telling itself, and it won't let go. It doesn't matter. I have made up my mind.
About leaving?
No, that is exactly what they want. I have made up my mind about writing for their uncle.
Miss, in pity,
I
do-
will. Miles thinks that I am afraid to, and I am not afraid. And if I must explain why I have done nothing about Miles' going back to school, then he must explain that letter.
You mean the one from the school?
Yes.
Miss, must you?
Don't you see that if I send for their uncle, it isn't my fault, nor is it yours, not if he hired such people in the first place. I will write to their uncle. Tonight.
Come in, my dear.
Miles?
I thought it was you.
How did you know?
I just knew. The way you know things sometimes.
What were you doing just now?
Just lying here, thinking.
And what were you thinking about?
About you, my dear.
Don't flatter me. You should be asleep.
Well, I mean, I was also thinking about this queer business of ours.
What business of ours?
You know.
Miles, what are you talking about?
You know.
Miles, do you know that all the time that you've been back, you've never so much as mentioned a word about school?
Haven't I?
Not a friend or a teacher or anything at all, not until this morning.
Haven't I?
So you can imagine how much I'm in the dark. I thought you'd like to hear this, but I no longer agree with you.
Oh no, I'm happy enough anyway.
What is it then?
You know what a fellow wants.
Perhaps, but not so much as you do. Why don't you tell me?
A boy wants his own soul.
Miles, what happened?
Before what?
Before you went away and before you came back.
What happened?
Miles, dear little Miles, don't you see that I only want to help you? It isn't anything else. I want so badly to help you, to save you, dear Miles. There's nothing that I would not do for you, but you have to help me. You have to tell me.
Ah!
Miles! Miles, the candle's out, Miles!
Sorry.
I remember the whole beginning as a succession of flights and drops, a little seesaw of the right throbs and the wrong.
Mrs. Gross! Mrs. Gross!
What is it, miss?
Flora's gone!
Gone, what do you mean?
Miles asked if I shouldn't like him to play the piano for me, it was a charming exhibition, like David playing to Saul, but it was a diversion, and the effect of it is so that I fell asleep at my post. He distracted me so that she could slip out.
Did you search the other rooms?
Everyone. She wasn't with you.
You had them both, miss.
I know it's my own fault.
Perhaps she's playing a game, like hide and seek.
No, it's not a game. She's gone.
How do you know?
Because I know. But I also know where she'll be. Else I wouldn't have gone to such trouble. She'll be at the lake.
Why would she be there?
It's her favorite place. And it's there we saw Miss Jessel.
You mean where you saw her and Miss Flora pretended
Yes.
not to?
She's wanted to go back ever since, and now Miles has arranged it for her.
Where is Master Miles?
In the schoolroom. He's probably with Quint. Lord. Oh yes, they planned it beautifully. It was one of the little secrets. When I had asked him where she had gone, he said, "How should I know, my dear?" This time, they've been much too clever.
You've written to their uncle.
I will leave it here for Luke to post. Come on, we must hurry. It's time.
Miss, it's raining your hat.
I don't care. Are you coming or aren't you?
Are you sure she'll be there?
Mrs. Groves, now more than ever, I need you to stand by me. Come with me, dear woman, and you'll see our beautiful Flora and that dreadful person, and you'll see that I am neither cruel nor mad.
Yes, miss. Thank God.
Miss Flora! Miss Flora! Flora! Miss Flora! There she is.
Flora! Oh, Flora, thank God! Flora, we've been looking all over for you. You had us worried sick. Surely now you know not to go off on your own like this. In weather like this, let's get you home where it's warm. Flora.
Yes, miss? Why, miss, you've come outside without your hat.
So have you, Flora?
Oh, I don't mind. I like the rain. But a lady should always wear a hat or bonnet when she goes outside. Are you looking for someone?
Yes, Flora, I am.
Where's Miles? Wasn't he playing the piano?
Let's go inside and see.
Just a moment. I will tell you where Miles is, Flora, but first you must tell me something.
Yes, miss?
Where my pet is Miss Jessel. There she is! There she is! Oh, don't look at me, you unhappy thing. She is there and you know him!
Good Lord, miss, what a dreadful term. What on earth do you mean?
What do you mean? She's right there. You can't see her. She is there, right there, as big as blazing fire, and you know that you can see her. Don't pretend that you can't.
I don't see anything. There isn't anything. I don't like you. You're
Flora!
You're frightening me. Take me away from her. Take me away.
Oh, from me.
Take me away from her. From her.
It's right, it's all right. Here, Miss Flora. You never saw nothing, did you? Now can poor Miss Jessel, when poor Miss Jessel's dead and buried. It's nothing but a mistake and a bad
But
go.
she is there.
Please.
I see. Take her away. Just go.
You're bad. I hate you. You're bad. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. Tatouage. Tatouage. You're bad. I hate you. You're bad. I hate you. Shen. Famel. I hate you. I hate you. You're bad. No. Shoot. Nobody stops. I took my clothes and jumped in the water. Famel. Ma Petit. Don't look at me. Ma. Famel. Ma. Don't look at me. I hate you. Don't touch me. Just Heist. You're bad. I hate you. You're bad. Famel. Bad. You're bad. I hate you. Famel.
While leaving with Miss Flora, she came feverish in the night.
Now do you believe me?
I believe something has shattered within the child. What will you do?
Stay on. To face what I have to face with Miles.
With Miles.
Yesterday when you left, she smiled at me. Triumphant, malevolent, oh, there are depths. Don't you see? She manipulated the whole thing. She knew.
Knew what?
She knew that you wouldn't see her. And that Flora would pretend not to. If I had ever doubted, all of my doubt would be gone by now. The dreadful truth is closing round, and I have lost Flora. Of course she'll try to discredit me with her uncle, but he'll have gotten my letter.
He won't have missed it, never sent.
What do you mean?
Master Miles took it. I mean, I noticed it wasn't when you left it this morning, and I asked Lucretta, and she said she never saw it.
Doesn't matter. I know what I must do.
What is that?
While you were with Flora, Miles came and sat with me. He wants to confess.
He told you.
No. But he wants to. I can see it, and he must. If he confesses, then he is saved, and if he is saved, then
You are.
we are fighting a demon for a human soul. If Miles can say his name, then I can save him.
Miss, these things are beyond me. I've stood by you, I've tried to believe. And if what you say is happening, these are terrible, unspeakable things going on. But if you're wrong, miss, if you're wrong,
They stripped him of his little shirt
Miss
and
Flora?
bound him in an iron chain
Flora,
and burnt him in a holy place where many had been burned before.
Flora,
The weeping parents wept in vain.
oh, she's with you, miss. Yes. Goodbye, miss. Come, Miss Flora.
It must come to an end now.
O Rose, thou art sick, the invisible worm that flies in the night in the howling storm.
Hast found out thy bed of crimson joy, and his dark secret love does thy life destroy.
Is that a song of innocence or experience?
I don't know,
We're alone.
more or less.
How do you mean?
Well, we still the others.
The others? But they don't much count, do they?
Depends on what you mean by much.
Depends upon what you mean by others.
Yes.
It all lies in a half a dozen words. Do you play chess?
A little. Why?
Because what strikes me we're at a sort of endgame. The part where you've only a few pieces left, and it becomes a matter of how you maneuver them. You circle about like fighters not daring to close. The problem is I'm not much good at chess, and Flora can't play, so I have no one to practice with.
And who taught you to play?
Must have been someone. I forget. Well, Flora would be alright.
She'll feel better in London.
Do you mean to say why I no longer agreed with her?
Something like that.
It's funny, isn't it? The idea of a place agreeing or not agreeing with you, as though it were making up its mind. I'm glad Blythe still agrees with me. Have you made up your mind?
Miles, don't you know there isn't anything that I would not do for you?
I wonder if that's true.
Why else would I be here now?
You mean you really stayed just for me?
Yes.
And now here we are alone. But I'm afraid you must be more alone than I. I hope you don't mind. I've been out exploring ever so far, miles and miles.
Miles,
I've never been so free.
Do you remember the night that I sat by your bed and told you that there was nothing I would not do for you?
I remember. I also remember you wanted me to tell you something. Is that why you stayed?
There's no better time or place.
You mean now?
Yes, Miles.
I'll tell you.
Everything?
Yes. I mean, I'll tell you anything you like, and you'll stay on with me, and we'll both be all right. And I'll tell you. But not now.
Well, then perhaps for now you can answer just one small question.
What is it?
Yesterday afternoon, did you take my letter from the table?
You frightened me. Yes, I took it.
Principio tibi, quicum es, spiritus immunde.
And what did you take it for?
I wanted to know what you said about
And
me.
is that what you did at school?
At school?
Did you take things, letters and things?
I didn't steal.
Then what did you do?
Dicas mihi nomen tuum.
Thou shalt tell me by some sign or other thy name.
I don't know what you want me to say.
What did you do?
I was bad.
And what did you do? Why can't you go back?
I said things.
What things?
Bad things.
To your teachers.
No, it's to... I don't remember their names.
Exorciso te, immundissime spiritus, et omne incursio adversariae, et omne phantasme, et omne legio.
I cast thee out, thou unclean spirit, among the least ropes of thy wicked enemy, and of revenge for diabolical wishes.
Wait, you mean that there were so many?
No, only a few of those I liked.
Those that you liked?
Yes.
And where did you learn these things that you said?
Eradicare et effugare ab hoc plasmate Dei.
Punishment is the kingdom of God.
No more! No more! No more!
Adjuro te.
Are you driving?
What is it? You're frightening me.
It's here.
What's here? Is it her? Miss Jessel, is it Miss Jessel?
Dicas mihi nomen tuum.
It's not Miss Jessel, but it is here. The coward Homer! Ignore the last time!
Dicere ergo nunc.
Nothing more.
Do you mean it's him?
Who do you mean, Miles? I am here, Miles. I will protect you, but you have to tell me. Say it. Say his name.
Adjuro te.
Say it.
I am going.
Say his name!
Peter Quick!
Peter Quick! Peter Quick!
That's fine.
You did it, Miles. You did it. The house is empty now. He will not ever hurt you again. I promise. You did it. You're mine. Miles. Miles. No, God, no! What have I done? What have I done now? No.
Do you like this?
No, God, what have I done?
Are you afraid?
Yes.
Good.